You know, it's funny, smartphones have completely taken over as our main camera, right? We've all got these incredible little photography tools right in our pockets.
We do. But there's this huge design irony happening.
What's that?
The very things that make the cameras so good, the bigger sensors, all the complex optics, they force the whole camera unit to stick out from the phone's body.
The protrusion. Yeah.
That protrusion, I mean, it's necessary for the quality, but it also makes it incredibly vulnerable. We see it everywhere now. The new iPhones, the Samsung Galaxy S series, even the high-end Xiaomi phones, they all have these camera islands just sticking out.
And that really gets us right to the core question that so many of you have asked us to look into for this deep dive. Do these little camera lens protectors, do they actually work?
And more importantly, are you ruining your photos?
Exactly. Are we taking this amazing piece of technology and just, slapping a blurry piece of plastic over it?
So that's our mission today. We're going to cut through all the skepticism using the sources you sent us and really build a comprehensive guide here. We need to talk about why you need one, what your best options are, and then really nail down that quality question.
Because the math on this is pretty simple, isn't it?
It is. The tiny cost of a good protector is just, it's a fraction of what it costs to replace a whole camera module if you scratch or crack it. That could be hundreds of dollars.
And we're not just talking about a huge catastrophic drop, are we? The sources really seem to focus on the little things.
Mm-hmm. It's the repetitive minor contact that's the real threat. Think about just a single grain of sand in your pocket getting pressed against the lens.
Or just setting it down on a table every day.
Exactly, that tapping motion. Or the friction inside a backpack. It all adds up.
It's that slow, cumulative damage.
Precisely. It's the micro damage that slowly kills your image quality. Think about how light works, right?
Mm.
It hits a perfectly smooth piece of glass, it goes straight through to the sensor, cleanly. But when it hits a tiny scratch or a little pit on the surface, that light scatters. It gets refracted off its path.
And that scattering is what leads to things like lens flare, right?
It leads to flare, yes, but also just general softness, a lack of contrast. You really see it when you're shooting towards a light source, like street lights at night or even just the sun.
So those little micro scratches are basically diffusing the light before it even gets into the lens.
You got it. And that permanently degrades the clarity. When you think about how central the camera is to what makes these phones so expensive and valuable, stopping that daily wear and tear becomes pretty crucial.
Okay, so let's unpack this. If we all agree the vulnerability is real and that slow damage is a problem, the next question is, what do we do about it?
Right.
You mentioned it's not just one type of glass you buy. There are different options for different kinds of risks.
There are. And, understanding the difference between, say, tempered glass and hybrid glass is really key to matching the right product to how you actually use your phone.
Okay, so let's start with the one I think most people know. Tempered glass.
Right. Tempered glass is sort of the industry standard for scratch resistance. It goes through this whole heating and rapid cooling process that makes it incredibly hard.
That's the 9H hardness rating you always see.
That's the one. It means it's going to resist scratches from almost anything, short of a diamond. When you're just worried about keys in your pocket or a sharp edge, tempered glass is the go-to. It's rigid, it's dense, it's a strong shield.
But that rigidity can also be a weakness, can it? If something's too rigid, it can be brittle.
That is the trade-off. Exactly. While it's great at stopping a scratch on its face, the edges can be a weak point.
To chipping.
To chipping, or even fracturing if you get a very specific sharp impact on the corner. And that brings us to the alternative. Hybrid glass.
Okay, so hybrid glass, the flexible one, how is that made differently?
Hybrid glass is a composite. It's usually a mix of a very elastic polymer layer with, say, a thin layer of glass or a ceramic coating on top.
So it's much thinner.
Much thinner and way more flexible. I'd think of it less like a bulletproof shield and more like a shock absorber.
Okay.
So that elasticity means that when it takes a hit, or if it's constantly being flexed in a tight pocket, the material just bends a little instead of immediately cracking at the edge.
But wait, that's a really good point. But if it's thinner and more flexible, doesn't that make it easier to scratch than that super hard 9H tempered glass?
That is a very smart question. And yeah, that's the compromise. A pure hybrid might have a slightly lower static scratch resistance than pure 9H glass.
Right.
But for a lot of people, the way their protector fails isn't a big scratch across the middle. It's the chipping on the edge that causes it to start lifting up.
I see.
And that's where the hybrid's flexibility actually leads to better long-term durability. You replace it less often. It really just depends on what you're more afraid of, a specific scratch or that sort of total structural failure.
So we have the super hard-tempered and the flexible chip-resistant hybrid. But the sources suggest that the real magic, especially for photo quality, isn't just the glass, it's what's on the glass.
The coatings,
We have to talk coatings.
they are completely non-negotiable. I mean, without good coatings, you might as well not even bother. Your bare finger, even when it feels totally dry, leaves an oily residue.
Okay, so let's define the first one, the oleophobic coating.
It literally means oil-fearing. It's like a microscopic non-stick coating engineered specifically to repel the oils from your skin and fingerprints.
So the oil just beads up instead of smearing.
Exactly. With a good coating, you can wipe it clean with a single swipe. With a bad one, you just smear the oil around and your image quality is instantly gone.
Okay, and then there's another one that's related but different, the anti-smudge coating. What's that for?
That's more of a refinement for optical clarity. It's designed to minimize the streaky rainbow effect that oils and dust can create under bright light.
Oh, like on a car windshield when the sun hits it just right?
Perfect analogy. It reduces those visual artifacts and also helps reduce the static charge that attracts all those tiny dust particles that can show up as spots in your photos.
And what about for those really tricky shots, like shooting into the sun or at night with streetlights?
For that, the anti-reflective coating is absolutely critical. Every time you add another layer of glass, you create two new surfaces where light can bounce around internally.
And that's what causes those green dots or ghosting effect?
That's the lens flare, yeah. The anti-reflective coating is designed to just kill those reflections and make sure the light passes straight through. The high-end protectors, they combine all three, oleophobic, anti-smudge, and anti-reflective, on a super thin piece of glass, maybe 0.22 millimeters, to keep that optical path totally clean.
That is a ton of tech just to make sure light passes through cleanly. Which brings us perfectly to the deep dive mythbuster. This is the one that stops everyone. Does adding all this stuff actually mess up your pictures?
And the simple evidence-based answer is no. No. But with two huge conditions. You have to use a high-quality protector, and the installation has to be absolutely perfect.
But you see complaints all the time online. People talking about haze, weird flares, pictures that are just soft. If it's not the protector's fault, what's causing that?
It almost always comes down to one of three things, and none of them are really a problem with the concept itself. First is just poor optical quality of the glass.
They got the cheap one.
You bought the dollar store special, yeah. Its light transmittance is just lower. It might not be perfectly flat, which physically distorts the light.
So it's not just a barrier, it has to be a perfect optical window.
Precisely. If that light transmittance isn't 99% or higher, you're going to see problems. The second cause is just bad alignment.
You put it on crooked.
Right. The edge of the protector is slightly covering the lens, which can cause vignetting or make the corners of your photo look really soft.
And the third one, the classic problem.
Installation failure. Dust. Just a single piece of dust or a tiny hair trapped underneath. You can't fix a picture where the light was physically blocked before it even got to the lens.
So if you manage to do all three things right, good product, perfect alignment, zero dust, the image quality is totally unaffected.
Yes. And not only that, but this is where we get to that unexpected benefit the sources talked about. It can actually improve your photo consistency.
How so?
What's the #1 reason most people take blurry photos?
A dirty lens.
A dirty lens. We touch it all the time without thinking. A good protector with a great oleophobic coating gives you a consistently clean surface that's easier to wipe. It means the lens is always ready to go.
That's a great point. The barrier actually helps you maintain a cleaner surface. Okay, let's switch gears to practicalities. For anyone listening who is now on board, what are the key things to look for before they click buy?
So beyond choosing between tempered and hybrid, you need to check 3 other things. First, model-specific fit. It has to be for your exact phone. Camera layouts change all the time. Second, look at the coating claims. Don't settle for anything less than both oleophobic and anti-reflective.
And the third thing, case compatibility. That's a huge question for people.
It is. The big FAQ is, do I need a protector if I already have a big, tough case?
And the answer is?
An emphatic yes. A case is great for the sides and back, but on most modern phones, that camera island still sticks out past the lip of the case. The protector is that essential second layer, that sacrificial shield for the glass itself.
And are some protectors more case-friendly than others?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The premium ones, especially those with a little aluminum frame around them, are engineered with really tight tolerances.
So the case doesn't peel them off.
Exactly. It prevents the edge of the case from catching on the protector and lifting it up, which is a really common point of failure for the cheaper ones.
You mentioned that sacrificial nature, so when a drop actually happens, what's the protector doing?
It's acting like a crumple zone, but just for the lens. It absorbs all that kinetic energy by shattering itself.
So the protector breaks so the camera doesn't.
That's its job. If the protector breaks, it worked perfectly. You just peel off the broken bits and replace a $5 accessory instead of dealing with a $500 camera repair.
And for anyone worried about applying it or taking it off later, is that adhesive permanent?
Not at all.
Mm-hmm.
A good one uses an adhesive that's strong enough to stay on, but it's not going to damage the camera surface. You can just gently lift a corner with your fingernail or a little plastic tool, and it should peel right off with no residue.
Okay, so to kind of sum this all up for you, the listener, it seems like protection is genuinely necessary because of how these cameras are designed now. You're
Yeah.
trying to prevent that permanent damage from tiny scratches.
Mm-hmm.
The choice between that hard-tempered glass and the more flexible hybrid glass really comes down to how you carry your phone day to day.
Right.
And the big takeaway on photo quality is that it is absolutely maintained.
And can even be improved in terms of consistency.
Right. As long as you buy a good quality product, make sure it has the right coatings, and most importantly, the installation is perfect.
And, if we connect all that back to the decision you have to make, it raises a really interesting final thought for you to consider. We know that installation quality is it's paramount for optical performance. And we know that well-tempered glass is harder. Hybrid glass is tougher against the daily wear and tear of being in a pocket or a bag.
Right.
So that raises the question, should your personal daily carrying habits, the actual environment your phone lives in, should that be the absolute #1 deciding factor, even more important than just maximizing scratch hardness? It sort of challenges that whole idea that hardest is automatically best.